If we're not careful, there's this thing about our brains where we begin to get stuck in a rut. And as you walk through life, you hear people talk like this. They say, I feel like I'm stuck in a rut. I feel like I'm going through the motions. I feel like I'm running in circles. These are things that people say, which represents a state of mind. If we're not careful, as we grow into adulthood, we actually choose the path of least resistance when it comes to cognitive thinking. What does this mean? This means that we begin going on autopilot. We begin conserving brain energy and brain power by simply going through rituals. This is why when you see young children, everything is a new experience. Their brains are firing off at all kinds of different new neural pathways. They're literally being cut into their minds, and we call this phenomenon neuroplasticity. What happens is young people, young kids, they have neuroplasticity all the time. It begins to essentially carve new pathways, and they feel alert and alive, and we call it childlike wonder, and everything is a surprise and every day is a gift. But what happens as adults is our brain is an energy hog, and we want to conserve mental energy. We want to save this part of our brain, but the side effect is that we no longer create new pathways in the brain. So how do you get out of a rut? How do you kind of wake up again to this thing we call life? Just like the sunrise behind me, what you do is you walk on new pathways. I've never walked on this pathway ever in my whole life. I've never actually walked on this particular pathway. So what happens is my brain is actually carving a new mental pathway. It's saying, oh, look at the tree, look at the fence. You've never been here before like this. And my brain is alive in new ways. That's a micro example of what I'm talking about today. I want to challenge you to do something today that scares you to death. For some of you, you are so locked into the matrix that for some of you, you're scared to order a new dish at the restaurant because it's different. You might not like it. This is the dish you've always gotten your whole life. You're scared to take a risk. For some of you, that's what I want you to do. Others of you who might be a little bit more risky, maybe you've been thinking about doing something that you're scared to do, and you've been vacillating for so long thinking, well, what if I fail? Well, what if you fail? Recently, I did something that scared me to death. Remember, I am a nonfiction writer for the last 12 years. These are the books that I've written. This is my little lane. This is the safety that I feel all the time. I know how to do nonfiction. So 2 years ago, I woke up with an idea that said, write fiction, be a fiction author, be a young adult fiction author, be a young adult near future thriller young adult fiction author. And what happened, folks? All the fears came up. All the voices came up. You're going to fail. You don't know how to do it. There's no neural pathways that are able to do that for you, Carrie. You're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have to meet new people. You're going to have to read new literature. You're going to have to take risks. You might lose fans. You might be laughed at. You might have reviewers say you're an idiot. And then it was like, as I began working on the book, it was, hey, you should write from a young adult female perspective. Then the voices came up. You don't know young adult female perspectives, thoughts, emotions. What's your problem? You're scared. You're an idiot. Folks, this is what happens, okay? For some of us, it's just ordering a new food item on the menu. For others of us, it's basically taking our careers in a whole different direction with risk and adventure. Here's the point. How do you want to die? Do you want to die as someone who's full of regret? Or do you want to die as someone who's lived life to the fullest? Someone who said yes to things when they didn't even know what they were doing? That's what it takes to be alive. That's what it takes to snap out of the rut that our brains are caught in. That's what it takes to re-enter neuroplasticity. This is Carrie Oberbrunner. Be a soul on fire today. I believe in you, and go step out and do something new that scares you to death.